My name is Martin Bach. I'm from the company Hitsec. We are the distributor of the SportCam that you purchased. Thank you for purchasing plastic imaging, by the way. I do understand on Dr. Omar here that there are some issues regarding several things. One of the things is the option of the objective or the lens of the camera. We provided you with what we call a 25mm lens. That is the normal lens that we would provide with the customer who do recording of sports events. The reason for that is that we choose this lens is because it's the most common lens that they use, and also due to the fact that the distance that we normally work with on recording a high-speed video with sports imitations. You are saying also that you need a 9mm or an 8mm lens for this recording, and that is your experience. There are some issues regarding that because I don't understand your working distance. So if you can specify to Dr. Omar the working distance where you stand from the object, and at the same time specify how many meters in horizontal view that you actually want to see with that lens. How far away are the camera operator from the actual object that he wants to record? Because I think that an 8mm lens on an object distance of maybe 10 meters or 20 meters will give you a field of view that is beyond 35 or 40 meters. So I don't really understand the question regarding this, if it is for recording of people that are, or objects that are 20 meters away from the camera operator. So, but also there is of course any C-mount lens will fit on this camera. So any C-mount lens will fit on this camera. What you need to be aware when you are looking for cameras, lenses to this camera, sorry, then you need to be aware of the F number. There is an F number here. There is a 25mm, and then there is an F number. The F number is the 0.95, and that means the F number. If the F number was 1, then the millimeter of the lens was equal to the opening of the lens.
That's right.
And that means, what it means is that the amount of light that is actually being passed through into the sensor. So if you have an F factor of 0.95, it's almost 1. So it's almost 1 to 1. So if you have another C-mount 25mm with an F number of 4.5 or 0.45 or something like that, then you will have a problem with the light of the camera to the sensor. So it's no problem to have any. Also we have zoom lenses that you can actually put on the camera. Of course they are more expensive, but a zoom lens will then provide you a possibility to zoom in on the object that you want to see, and then you can get the working distance, and you can get whatever picture view that you actually want. But this is available, but of course then we cannot get a zoom lens with an F factor of 0.95. Then we need to, have more light to the camera.
What did you think for the best lenses?
The best lenses will depend on the application.
Yeah.
The only thing is that it needs to be a C-mount, sorry, to able to fit the camera, and it needs to have a good F number. That is the thumb rules of making it work. But then the distance, working distance, and the field of view that you want depend on how many millimeters the lens need to be.
Okay.
So that's very simple. But the 25mm here, if you go from 25mm down to 8mm, you reduce this by 3 times. The size here will be reduced by 3 times, and then you will have at least a 3 times more field of view. So be aware of that, because you have maybe today 4 or 5 meters, and then you will have 15 to 20 meters, maybe 30 meters on the same. So just be aware of that. But if you can then go back to what I need from you is that I need to have the working distance Dr. Omar is saying 10 meters of field of view, and then I need to have the working distance. How far away are you from the object that you want to film? And that is the most important thing that I need. And then we can provide you with a lens that is suitable for that application, of course. So that's it. The next issue is regarding the light and the dark areas of the camera when you actually experience that there is a light enough and the camera films itself is darker. Of course, what you can do on the camera is that you can go into the menu and then you can go in and you can put in the lens cup here to close the lens completely. And then what you can do is go into a capture on the menu and go in and capture a dark frame. When you have done that, you have reset the lens to maximum light input, so you're completely sure that there's no image, ghost image inside the lens, or sorry, the sensor. And then what you need to be very aware of is that inside the lens there is an iris, and the iris is a light decreaser. So you can actually decrease the light coming from the lens, and you need to be sure that the iris is completely open. So
with the dark area, or
yes, with the dark area. So you need to completely sure that the iris is completely open, so you don't have any iris inside the lens. So what you can do is that you can, when you have the picture here, you open up the iris so it's 100% open. So here, and then you can lock it here by the screw here. So you make sure, and also this is the iris. So you actually close and open. So you can actually see, if you look inside the lens, you will see like something coming in, closing the light inside. So you need to be sure that it's completely open. So it actually needs to say here on the stretch here on the lens, you need to say 0.95. Then you will have maximum light. Okay, if that's not enough, then you can reduce the frames. Also, you can reduce the number of frames, and then we'll give you a slower shutter. And the slower shutter will be able to get more light per picture that they're actually taking. If that's not enough, and you need to have the same amount of frames, change the lens or add light to your application. Working lamp or something like that you add. But please remember, when you are observing with high-speed cameras, that you need to add DC light, not AC, because AC swings around the AC that is actually provided by the power company, so you will have flickering, so it's not coming from the camera, it's actually coming from the light, the AC lights. Yes. Right. So be aware of that.